Hello everyone and welcome to today's webinar, Smooth Conversion to SAP ATTP on S4HANA, Expert Guidance from SAP and IndX. I'm Ramona Feser, Associate Marketing Director and your moderator. A few housekeeping notes before we start the session. If you have any questions during the presentation, please enter them into the Q&A section of the GoToWebinar panel at any time. And also, please have a look at our handout section to download the webinar presentation and also our ATTP S4 Accelerator PDF. Lastly, the webinar will be recorded and sent to you. Now, I want to introduce you to our speakers. First speaker in the round is Marco De Lorenzo from SAP. Marco is globally experienced in IT and business leader with more than 25 years in sales, business development, and consulting across different industries. As Vice President of IBU Life Sciences and Global Customer Advisory at SAP, he helps organizations to shape and execute their digital transformation. Marco focuses on building strong technology partnerships, driving business growth, and guiding life science companies through modernization and migration initiatives. And we also have Sandeep Dadwal. Sandeep is a principal serialization consultant at IndX with extensive experience in SAP Advanced Track Trace for Pharmaceuticals and S4HANA migrations. He has successfully led multiple global projects, enabling organizations to achieve compliant, efficient, and scalable solutions. He specializes in SAP ATTP architecture, migration strategy, and integration across SAP ICH, corporate serialization, SAP EWM, and business networks. Now let's jump in, and I turn over the presentation to Sandeep.
Yeah, thanks all, and thank you, Ramona, to have a brief introduction about us. Yeah, welcome all to this unique webinar wherein we are going to touch base and see and discuss about how smoothly we can make this journey or transformation from ATTP, which is right now running on NetWeaver, and do this transformation journey from NetWeaver to S4HANA. I'll give you a very brief description on the agenda, the touch points which we are going to discuss during the call, during the webinar itself. So we'll discuss a little bit about the backgrounds and the drivers which are making it crucial to do this transformation or the migration, what we call. Then we try to see what are the migration approaches and scenarios which can fit in as a use case, sharing our experience from the previous customers as well. The key challenges which in organization can face, might face as a potential key challenges when we are on this journey. And we talk about a little bit on the estimated potential timelines and the processes and the phases which are very crucial and are required to be kept in the planning. And then having a touch base on the business values and the velocities that IndX can bring, will bring on the table. And then the last discuss about the key takeaways from our today's webinar. And then the floor will be open for a Q&A session. So having said that, I will now like to invite Marco to little bit give you the backgrounds and the things. Oh, sorry, maybe I will first invite Ramona to have a quick poll with us.
Exactly. So I'm going to launch a poll now for all the attendees online, and because we have a question for you. If you had to place your organization on the SAP ATTP journey map, where would you be today? There are several options. First one, in exploration mode, so gathering information. Option 2, planning the route, assessing roadmap and options. Number 3, on the move, already testing or migrating. Number 4, destination reached, live on SAP ATTP on S4HANA. And the last one, just curious, joining to learn what's ahead. While attendees are voting, any guess from your side, Marco or Sandeep, where the market and the customers are right now?
I would guess number 2 will make the race here, but right now number 1 is in the lead. I'm saying that since SAP announced this conversion topic in 2022, and so it's already a while ago, but I think because there has been lots of time in front at 2022, it's 5 years, I believe companies are mainly in stage 1 or stage 2. My guess would be 2. So it's head on head with the first one right now. Yeah, so let's see.
Yes, I totally agree with Marco. Like from the previous experiences as well with the various customers, I also feel uh, SAP having this strategy early on from 2022 in the market. So yeah, the companies are potentially now looking for the planning mode or in the explanation modes now. But I also see few of the people who are joined in, they have already reached the destination, which is also good to do look at. And then yeah, people with a little bit with the curiosity is also there to learn what could be in the future.
Exactly. So first and second are the majority here of the people. So that's good
Yeah.
to see. All right, let's continue.
Okay. So thanks, Sandeep and Ramona, for the introduction. My name is Marco from SAP, as been introduced. So I would like to give you a bit of a background, what we just touched upon already in the question. So SAP announced in 2022 that basically SAP, the current version of SAP ATTP on NetWeaver will basically finish their maintenance on the 31st of December 2027. So in another 2 years' time. SAP basically brings then the ATTP version, ATTP standing for Advanced Track and Trace for Pharmaceuticals, on the S/4HANA foundation. This is basically in line with the overall SAP strategy, and the transformation coming from an also it's completely independent if you are running on ECC and running on S/4HANA. The transformation itself is independent because the ATP has a repository version and uses the same foundation, but it's not part of S4 itself. So that makes it quite important to note it because it runs as an own engine on the side on the same foundation, but not part of S4 itself. And you see here a little snapshot in terms of analytical view is how what we basically you don't have in that fashion on the NetWeaver version, how it's going to look like on the Fiori version on the S/4HANA side. Next slide, please. So this is just to highlight a bit the difference between the NetWeaver and S4 version. So I think I touched a couple of things. So what feature-wise, it's going to be the same, but probably what to highlight is that we have the modern interface with the SAP Fiori. You just saw that on the analytics side, and Fiori is also designed to have basically blocks of applications and buttons there, which makes it much more user-friendly than in the current version. You have the optimized HANA SAP HANA database in there, which also enables you then to enjoy AI features, which are already part of the SAP ATTP version, and the SAP is continuing to build on that. So more and more AI features will be built in, which will not be enjoyable on the SAP NetWeaver version. Probably important to mention as well in terms of interfaces you have built to other systems. You're not going to lose them, of course, because you basically, with the upgrade, automatically your existing interfaces remain in place. So you're going to enjoy this in a similar fashion as you did before. Next slide, please. What we see in general, and you might see some of these points also familiar with, is that what is the business case for the solution upgrade? And you're probably wondering what are the important factors behind it. When we talk with organizations, with analysts, but also with customers, 3 main pillars are striking out. One is the innovation side, the system stability, but also security and compliance, which are driving a business case. Keep in mind if you run out of maintenance with an existing system, you basically run into danger that you're not compliant. that the support is very limited you receive. You're more open and prone to cybersecurity attacks, which is very important nowadays. And you all know how many attacks happen per year in each jurisdiction. The stability of the system is not granted anymore. You are lacking new innovations which the industry enjoys, like AI, for instance, but also other innovations coming in. So all that doesn't happen anymore. So it brings a huge danger on on the security side, on the compliance side, enjoying innovations, but also stability of the system, which ultimately makes you less resilient in your overall approach when you work on that. And I will hand over to Sandeep now, who tells you a bit more in detail how the path of the conversion actually can look like. Probably just to mention, comes just to my mind what I forgot here. So IndX is a global partner of us. We are working together very closely on this conversion, and that's why we are running this webinar jointly together. And I'm handing over back to Sandeep now to let him tell you a bit more how that would look like from the IndX perspective.
Yeah, thank you, Marco, and thank you for giving up the complete heads up about this complete transformation. The reason behind it and the driving factor for this is, of course, approaching to the deadline in next couple of months, I would say, or year, but rather not wait up to the end and start doing the things from now. So yeah, little bit when we talk about the migration approach or the transformation approach, what we say, how should we look like? How should we deal this in the migration approach? Should we consider this as a simple upgrade of the application layer from NetWeaver to S/4HANA, or we consider this as a very major migration project, running with several other components with it, or we also take this opportunity to think about and make this a complete cloud evolution, taking the on-premises system to the more preferred SAP PC model way. So this basically depends, or basically the strategic decision are basically being given and being adapted by the current architecture, the current structure we have in the system. So normally what we with other customers as an experience, we see three pathways which are used for the transformation. So we can choose any one out of them. So we start, let's say, talking about the system conversion, which we normally called as a brownfield conversion or transformation, wherein we expect like the customers are already running on a 3.x version of ATTP with a HANA database underneath running with it, because transforming into this journey has a prerequisite to have for HANA database running on the foundation. So with this approach, if the existing customers are already running with ATTP 3.x with a HANA database running underneath of it, so it will be quite simple to do a minimal disruption and quickly do this type of system conversion from application layer side, from bringing it from 3.x to the latest version of ATTP 4.x. If we talk about a little bit older scenario wherein a legacy system of ATTP 3.x, or even maybe more legacy 2.x system, which is still running on NetWeaver and do not have a HANA database underneath running it could be like any other database which we industry standard database we are running. So this transformation could also be an option, but it will be becoming with two hops in the complete journey, wherein we first will have the stage wherein the database will be migrated from the old non-HANA database to updated HANA database with the older legacy version of ATTP to the latest ATTP 3.4, I would say, in this scenario. And then we do this transformation from there in the same way like we do in the earlier scenario for the brownfield from 3.x to the 4.x. This will all of course bring in a little bit more strategical decisions to make more planning in doing all these activities, but this is still an option. And the third type of transformation journey we normally see is the greenfield implementation. It's think like we are now moving into a new system with brand new system, and we are bringing in our old stuff, but not completely. So it's basically thinking of you are moving into a new apartment, and you are going into settle over there with new stuff, but with your little bit older things with more prescribe what we actually need. So all the customizations, all the things which are running in these so long years can be switched to a more standard processes which SAP has now brought up into this version, and try to minimize the customizing effect and the non formal things which can be omitted. And uh, we also think on the other strategies like archiving or doing the migration with limited amount of historical data that is not might be required in the current system. So greenfield implementation being the most cleanest way to do this, and more preferable approach always, if we can do in this phase. uh, but there are other scenarios like wherein we can still keep our old, I would say, customized way, the things which we have developed. I can understand we have worked with various customers globally, and there are several business scenarios which have been handled with this customization in these long years. But the more preferred, the best preferred way is always a greenfield implementation, what we see normally. Ramona, if you can go to the next line. Yep. Like I said, greenfield is of course the more preferable approach, more cleaner approach, and more prescribed approach, wherein we want to go to a very cleaner version with a minimum amount of historical data, with a minimum amount of customizations. But still, if we think about doing an upgrade rather than a greenfield journey, this is quite still possible, because in these long years we customers has developed so many tools and customized reports and other stuff which is required to run the business efficiently. And in a fear of losing all those things, we should not stop our journey at this place. So this is the same strategy which I was mentioning in the earlier slide. And it's basically making the legacy system to the more updated system by first upgrading on the database layer, if it is running on a legacy database on a non-HANA database, and bring it to a upgraded version of ATTP, in this scenario 3.4 right now, which gives us this capability that we can do the transformation and make the journey more feasible and more acceptable when we talk about doing the transformation in the third phase. So in the first phase, basically we upgrade our ATTP system to the latest update. In the second stage, we migrate our S4HANA database to a non-HANA database. And in the third phase, we start converting the application layer of 3.x to our latest ATP on S4HANA 4.x, I would say. And then as a strategy in the fourth step, it is quite possible that we can use this opportunity to use the full concept of SAP private cloud edition, and take our on-premises systems to SAP, wherein SAP has more flexibilities over there, be it be on the infrastructure side or resourcing side, or many other things which SAP can provide in this journey. So yes, it is still possible with the legacy system in place. We can do this journey, uh, and bring in the existing tools and reports and customizations with us in this journey. So Ramona, can you please move ahead? Yeah. Talking a little bit, touching about the migration approach. So migration approach, when we work on this transformation journey, it basically has the same key phases what we talk about in the SAP activate aligned strategy methodology. So we have different phases, like we start with the discovery and preparation phase, wherein we do the readiness assessment, like how ready the environment is, what would be the licensing cost for this, what would be the infrastructure sizing which would be required if we talk about greenfield or brownfield in this scenario. And then we talk about, in the next phase is go to the exploration phase, wherein we do the sandbox conversion on the lower environments. Of course, it will require a good amount of regression testing, and so there will be test cycles which will be executed in this exploration phase. And then, like I said, the heart of this transformation is the customizing and the code which we have already. So that is very crucial part. to do the analysis of what is right now running in the system and make sure that we either optimize it when we move into the next system, or we take it with us, but in a fine-tuned way. In the next realization phase, we start with the full data migration. We start talking about what configuration, what master data, what transitional data we have to take, but how much is the historical data that we should separate, or we use the concepts like archiving, data archiving, or we use concepts like hot and cold storage, wherein S4 can provide within to save a little bit on the cost side as well, on the overall costing of the projects as well. And then we do the validation and testing in these phases. And in the last and the crucial phase of deploy and running it, we start with the mock-over test. We do a pre-production test. We do mock-over dry runs, and certainly we step into the go live, and we enter into the hypercare phase and the stabilization phases. So it basically follow the same cycle that we have with the SAP activity. So Ramona, can you please ahead? Yeah. Little bit talking about the indicative timelines. The indicative word over here is of course saying a lot of things in itself, which means like these are the potential indicative timelines based on the things like we start up with the project, and we do the discovery for first 2 to 3 weeks, wherein we get to know the environment. We see what are the system, the landscape currently looks like, and what are the potential options, where should we go, which strategy we should follow, and what type of infrastructure sizing we might require for resizing a new one, or all sort of plannings. And then once we agreed on this, we enter into the next 4 to 6 weeks for the exploration phase, wherein we do a lot of regression testing. We do the sandbox analysis. We do all type of lower environment upgrades, and all type of I would say gathering the data what has to be done. And in the realization phase, the actual configuration and migration activities basically starts from the lower environment, from the quality environment into the pre-prod, and then later on in the production environment. So in the relation phase, we do all this migration, complete round of regression testing in each of the environments. Herein also we focus on talking about how much historical data we have to agree and make a strategy around it, how much we should take with us, how much is not basically it seems not to be very crucial that we have to migrate with the things. And in the last weeks of deploy and run, in the last 2 to 3 weeks, wherein we do a dry run, mock over test, and then go live, and then provide, let's say, 2 to 3 weeks of hypercare support, so that everything is stabilized and we make sure that the things are looking same when we see the system before and after. The operation should not get impacted. The things which are working previously, we do the same thing in a better manner, I would say, once this transformation journey is achieved. So, but the actual timelines, what I say is, of course, limited and are required to be discussed. And when we talk about sitting together and analyzing the phase, then we can bring up with a little bit more accurate timelines. But these are the indicative timeline that we think from our previous experience with the various customers, that we start and we end up this complete journey in near to 4 months time frame, I would say. Okay, so I think time to move to the next slide, Ramona. Yeah, so key challenges, basically what we see so far that we have worked on with various customer on this particular topic. So yes, the first major key challenge what we see is the custom code remediation, because like I mentioned, in these many years I have seen and worked with various customer. having all these sort of customer custom code that are being developed for various business cases they are running in. So this is the biggest key challenge that we foresee, that in the fear of losing all these, customizing, the companies or the customers are a little bit tangent to move into the transaction, into the transformation journey. So this is one key challenge we need to think of, and we need to remediate when we talk about this transformation journey. The other challenges normally revolves around the integration, and like Marco just mentioned, this new system ADDP on S/4HANA gives a number of out of the box integration, unlike its old partner on NetWeaver. And there are certain capabilities which will be integrated out of the box, like the ERP systems can be integrated out of the box. The MES systems can be integrated out of the box. SAP ICH has the out of the box integration, and alongside other connection which are running based on the APIs and based on the middleware. Those all are basically quite possible that we will integrate it during the migration or the transformation. So this is one area wherein the risk or the thinking should be revolved around having these integrations to be there, what we have in the network version. The biggest one more challenge what we always see is the customer has this business downtime risk, because this is a movement wherein we have a cutover window wherein the old system will go away, and it will be replaced by a newer system, making it a little bit challenging doing the proper cutover windows and proper downtime strategy for it. And it also depends on the path we choose. Basically, if we talk about doing it in an upgrade mode wherein we are using the same system but we are upgrading it step by step on the database level and then on the application level, it will of course bring in little bit more challenge. Whereas when we talk about having a scenario wherein we have a greenfield implementation, it will still have the downtime strategy to be maintained, but it will come with a lower risk inside it. So it also depends on the strategy we are agreeing on, how to do this transformation internally. And then majority of the time I have seen and asked this question, like we have an older ATTP system, we are running this system from last 10 years, 15 years, and now we have a bulk amount of data, a large volume of data. What should we do with this? Should we take this and pay the cost for this data to be placed in S/4HANA system or not? So this is one challenge, and this is one strategy we always think about and give an advice to our customer, that there is absolutely no need to bring all the historical data with the transformation journey. So use this time frame, use this transformation journey, not only to make the change the shift from the technical stack from NetWeaver to S/4HANA, but also rethink and take this opportunity to redesign your business, redesign the business processes, how we can minimize uh, our movement, how we can minimize our cost because of all these things. So we always talk about having archiving as a tool to take out the historical data, or we have newer tools like warm storage concepts wherein S4 system can provide movement of such large amount of data not to be transformed into the active tables, whereas transformed but kept into the warm storage. Whenever it is required, we can fetch them at a later stage. So these are the challenges what we see. And then of course every business runs and uses ADDP system for making it compliant into the market, so that whatever business model they have, be it be from the pharmaceutical world or be it be from any other domain, they have various regulatory reportings and operations continuity that they are having a critical dependency on this system. So we make sure that before and after the transformations, like this regulatory reporting and the operations are in continuity, and we don't lose the game when we, like Marco just mentioned, waiting until the last of this to happen, and react at that moment wherein we start thinking about this, so that we don't lose the momentum in the game. Okay, so maybe Ramona, you can share, move the next one.
Yes,
Full time.
it's time for another poll. So I'm going to launch that for the audience now to keep everyone engaged. We would like to know from you what outcome matters the most once you're live on ATP on S/4HANA. Number one, seamless compliance and zero downtime operations. Number two, real-time traceability across global supply chain. Number three, simplified data management and storage efficiency. Number four, modern intuitive user experience. And the last one, strategic agility to innovate faster. So you have time to vote now. And let's see what the outcome will be. I think, of course, all of them are really important points. Give it a couple more seconds before we show the end results. All right. I will share results now. So we have seamless compliance and zero downtime operations wins here. And then the second one is real-time traceability across global supply chains with 33%.
Yeah. And I'm not surprised to see the end result, because I do expect, like from my previous experience with the customers, the main goal to reach at the end point is do it seamlessly, compliantly, and with a minimum or next to zero downtime to do not impact the running operations. And yes, it depends. It also have this new thing, and then to see how, what is a real time traceability, but how we can see what things are where, which Marco just mentioned. With the new user interfaces with the ADTP running on S/4HANA, we have these capabilities of seeing it in a more user friendly way. And yes, this strategically aligning to the innovation faster is, of course, stepping ahead, putting a first step into the more innovative and more user friendly version, and more AI centric version of SAP strategies, and take part in that, of course, with this first step of transformation. So I think, yeah, I don't have any glitches on this.
All right.
Okay. So with majority, yes, we agree. Like, we are looking for a transformation journey wherein we do this in a seamless way, and in a more proactive way. So that's why we are here to support you as Index. A little bit, if we talk about the business values and the velocity, what this transformation can bring in. So it basically, of course, unified the digital core for the serialization. So basically, several things going around in several of the interfaces. This can be now give you a central look, what Marco was also mentioning. It gives a enhanced Fiori UX versions and a real-time compliance dashboards, wherein the business user one can log in and see uh, at a given point of time what are my serialized data, how does it look like on a time frame basis, on a on a location basis, on a business case basis, how these things look like, rather than in the older and the legacy version of NetWeaver. We can still try to achieve this, but by merging various screens, the old GUI style of doing it. But with ADTP moving to S/4HANA, it gives and it brings the more enhanced pure UI, wherein users can easily use this, navigate it, and get the results much more faster. Of course, and this will enable the native S/4HANA analytics which means like this data which we have for so long time, the data which we already have into our system can be still inserted into the analytics layer, like SAP SAC, when we talk about, or we talk about moving it or using it into the data lakes, where for doing the analytics and bringing the useful result out of it, which will of course end up in bringing more values to the business. So this is one thing which was not uh, there embedded into the older NetWeaver legacy version, but it will be a part, and it will be there when we talk about ATTP moving to S/4HANA. Future ready AI complexities and capabilities. This of course enable us and this will be an enabler for ATTP, wherein to get merged with SAP strategy, providing AI solutions in near future, be it be SAP Joule or other tools which we are going to hear in the upcoming months from SAP. So this will be the first step to start grabbing those AI capabilities and the predictive analysis on that. And the lower TCO, wherein we have much faster upgrades and simplest architecture. So for now, let's say SAP has the strategy that they are releasing the updates for NetWeaver and for S/4HANA and parallelly. But like Marco said, with the end of life approaching very soon, there might be the shift in the strategy, wherein the legacy NetWeaver system might not have the latest updates available from SAP, which means customers will be lagging into those new features and new updates, which will be only released for S/4HANA on ATTP on S/4HANA. So basically, it will be much simplified architecture and a faster upgrade, strategy what we can achieve with this. Why choose index? We as an index where we can help you. So we can help you because we have a vast experience as industry standard experts, and having a strategic partnership with at least 19 out of 20 top pharma companies we are working with. We have predefined packed service and methodologies that will be easier to use, easier to adopt, and efficiently deliver the results. And we have already proven protocols that can support and can bring the things to a faster movement when we talk about the complex continuity plan. With this, all these things, all these methodologies, and all these predefined services and methodologies, we have this capability that we can provide a faster implementation, as using the standardized toolkits, like some SAP standardized toolkits, and then some methodologies which we have developed in so many years, uh, working with various customers globally. So from index side, we are there to support you in your this transformation journey. We have several years of experience how to do this, and predefined methodologies, predefined ways of working it, predefined validation protocol, which we can support in this journey very quickly. Okay, so maybe in the next slide, Ramona. Okay, so we are almost near to end, I would say, and the key takeaways, if I will talk about the complete journey we discussed in last 40 minutes nearly with Marco and me. So basically, the key takeaways that we talk about is we should plan the migration eventually before 2027, because with the clock ticking in and reaching the end of the support soon for NetWeaver version of ATTP, it will be well good that we start the thinking, the processes, and start having this in our consideration, and to react eventually before the timeline comes in to the end. And at that very last moment, there will be there would be there could be some glitches that will end up in doing the discontinuity of the compliance or the operation we are doing. So the better, the sooner the better, I would say, on this approach. choose the right migration approach, like what we already seen. We have several migration approaches. We can do a brownfield approach or a greenfield approach or just an upgrade scenario we are talking about. So based on our landscape, based on our maturity level, and based on the business goals we want to achieve as end result, we should choose a right migration approach rather than talking about a one particular strategy. We should explore more than one strategy and see which fits us better as a business. Adopt the S4 HANA foundation to unlock the performance gains. Of course, the S4 HANA technical stack will bring various foundation, various performance, and Fiori UX and advanced traceability analytics. So it is always better that we adopt all these, not only to do the transformation but also use those as enhancements in future, wherein the business can get full benefits out of this transformation. Leverage the automation and accelerator to reduce the project timelines, like using the predefined strategies, using the predefined methodologies that will reduce the overall project timelines, reduce the risk, and do this in an optimized way of business downtime. Prioritize the data. Of course, the data is one very big topic always in questionnaire, that how and but to decide on the strategical point of view how much data we need to take with us when we do such type of transformation. So we should use tools like archiving or leverage the S4 HANA's new transformation things like warm storage and tiered data management, which will not only save us on the cost, but it will also do the transformation in a more effective manner. Establish a robust validation and testing. This is very crucial step, I would say, because of this transformation. This transformation will require a very good and huge amount of regression testing to understand what is actually right now the system looks like, what it actually does, and make sure that after each step we do in the transformation journey, we make sure that the critical things and the compliance are met, and it is being delivered in the same fashion it is being run in the older NetWeaver versions. Partner with experience migration, very important and very crucial step, I would say. Choose the right partner with like SAP in collaboration with the IndX can support on this, and we are here to do and support you in the seamless and low risk transformation on your journey. And last but not least, like, view the migration as a transformation opportunity. This is always I say to various of the customers when I'm talk about on this topic. So don't just think or don't just see this as a technical movement, like moving 3.x as a application to a newer version of it, but also rethink about this from the business point of view, business process point of view. Take this opportunity to redefine the business models and the data sets we want to take us with us, and the more standard way of doing it, like I said, uh, living little bit congested old way of doing the thing, which can be achieved very quickly and very adaptively by just fine tuning the things, and this can be switched, this can be the results can be achieved in the similar fashion by transforming to and stitching to a standard way of doing it. So take this opportunity as a not as a just a technical move, but take this as a journey to rethink about the business remodeling, about streamlining the processes, about taking the first step towards the AI driven more centric serialization excellence, so that the business can continue doing the same operation it is doing eventually in a more better way, in a more in a more better way, so that the things can be easily found out, I would say. With this, I think we are almost to the end, uh, and we are almost on the time from my side as well, I think. But yeah, we will open the floor for the question and answers if we have.
Yes, thank you, Sandeep. Thank you, Marco. It's time for the Q&A, and I already see a couple questions coming in. So let's get started so that we can answer maybe one or two questions. Can we migrate ATTP to S/4HANA without moving our ERP system yet?
Yes, I think Marco already in his slide talked about this topic. So upgrading an ATTP from NetWeaver to S/4HANA is completely decoupled from the strategy we are right now. Maybe many of the customers are running upgrading their existing ECC system to S/4HANA. Although there will be touch points, there will be integration touch points that will be required to be revisited, and with this strategy, we have to reintegrate the newer S/4HANA on the ECC side. But to answer this, yes, this is completely decoupled.
All right, thank you. I have another question here. Will there be additional license costs to use AI and predictive analytic capabilities?
Okay, I hope like this will be the part of S4 packet, but yeah, I would like Marco to take on this, of course.
Yeah, so basically we are constantly working on AI innovations, and we need to differentiate AI, whether it's embedded AI or whether it's custom AI or AI agents which are part of S4. So, and how it works in general with SAP, you basically buy credits for AI units and can use them in any kind of business scenario you want to use it for. So it can be an HR SuccessFactors agent, it can be a supply chain agent, or we have like what we're doing right now, the error analysis in which is embedded in ATTP. But for that to use it, you need to have AI credits to purchase extra, and they decide then where and how to use them in your own fashion. Maybe one more comment, what in general about transformation. So what we see today, and Sandeep also touched on that, we probably saw a decade of very quick compliance fixes in the past, many layered integrations and legacy tools. There's not always a common architecture vision. So I'm echoing and fully agree what Sandeep just said. Use this opportunity now for a transformation to rethink your architecture, to look into your complex and maybe fragmented architecture, which is hard to scale, and look for a clean core strategy which brings you in a different direction. This is more S4 related, where we talk about the ATTP conversion, but I think it's important to what Sandeep said, and I'm just echoing it, to take this as an opportunity, as a transformation. So to build a clear roadmap, to have a clean architecture built for your cloud, which harmonizes your data integrations and makes you ready for S4HANA, BTP, everything what's happening beyond, as well as the ATA innovations which are coming up, and AI new features which constantly will now accompany us. And we are just at the starting point of that. So sorry, I took some time here, but I think that's probably important message, and to echo what Sandeep said. Yeah.
Thank you, Marco. Yes. I think this is all the time we have today, unfortunately. So there are a couple more questions. We're going to answer them by email. So thank you very much for joining us today. So I know your time is valuable. On behalf of Marco and also Sandeep, we want to thank you. Please make also sure to download the webinar presentation in the handout section, as well as our ATTP accelerator. And also please take part in our short survey after the webinar. That would help us greatly. We hope we know your time is valuable, and on behalf of all of us, we want to thank you for joining. Have a great day and goodbye.
Thank you all, and thank you, Ramona.
Thank you.